Alexander Kamen was born on May 24, 1953 in the city of Vyatsky-Polyeni in a family of simple workers. In childhood and youth, he did not stand out among his peers in any way. He studied in a middle school and did not show any special abilities. Having finished 8 classes with difficulty, Kamen decided to drop out of school and prepare for the army, but instead ended up in a bunk. 18-year-old Alexander got into a fight, in which 2 people received serious injuries and was imprisoned under the charge of hooliganism. While serving the 3-year term assigned to him, Kamen listened rapturously to the stories of his cellmate, who at one time held captive several homeless people who painted icons and paintings. And the master sold them for good money. Prisoner Kamen liked the stories very much, and he took them down. Meanwhile, behind the bars, the young convict seemed to have found his calling. He worked at a local sewing factory, and the work really fascinated him. Once he was free, Kamen went to a technical school to learn sewing skills. He dreamed of becoming a fashion designer. But a diploma of a fashion designer did not guarantee employment. Kamen worked as an electrician, handyman, watchman, and then got a job as a stoker. At his last place of work, Kamen met a colleague, an engineer by education, Alexander Mikheyev. Remembering the stories of a cellmate who was a slave owner, he suggested that Mikheyev get his own slaves who would grow berries and vegetables for sale. As a second source of income, Kamen planned to breed black cats on their skins so that they could then be used to make souvenirs from these skins. This is not a greenhouse, but a dungeon. After some time, Kamen's plans changed. He decided to organize a sewing factory where his personal slaves would work. Alexander's personal garage in the local Ideal Cooperative was supposed to be the workshop. However, it was risky to keep slaves in the garage itself with good hearing, so Kamen and Mikheyev decided to create a fortified basement under it, a kind of bunker. The work took the accomplices 4 long years. This is not a greenhouse, but a dungeon, Kamen liked to repeat. The owners of neighboring garages sometimes noticed how Kamen was hauling buckets of earth and construction materials. But Alexander waved off curious neighbors and answered all the questions that they say. I grow cucumbers in the garage and breed the inside for sale. This legend was very liked by the wives of motorists, who often set the hard-working Kamen as an example to their spouses. By the end of 1994, the bunker at a depth of 9 meters was ready. Its area was 15 square meters. A staircase led to the room, which was divided into several rooms, and Kamen had wired it with high voltage in case his future captives decided to escape. The accomplices covered the walls with mattresses for better soundproofing. A little later, Kamen and Mikheyev set up tables and beds in the bunker, bought 2 sewing machines and fabric, and then started looking for slaves. Slaves were sought among women leading in a social way of life. One of them, 33-year-old Vera Talpiva, met Alexander Mikheyev on December 11, 1994. The first slaves. To her misfortune, Talpiva herself turned to Mikheyev with a request to give her a cigarette. They talked. Soon Vera agreed to have a drink in Alexander's company and went with him to the garage. After waiting for the woman to get a little drunk, the accomplices added clothesline to her glass. The woman woke up already in the bunker and with horror listened to the speech of Kamen and Mikheyev, who announced that from now on she will live in the basement and sew things. Her first reaction was to try to escape from captivity, but her strength was not equal. After that, in order to calm the stubborn slave, Kamen repeatedly beat her with a rubber hose and iron chains, raped her, and constantly threatened to kill her. Soon the captive was so intimidated that she agreed to all the conditions. She just didn't succeed in sewing. No matter how much Kamen taught Talpiva to work on the typewriter, nothing meaningful came out.